Howdy ho H2Os, Roller Bros, and James Colvins alike. I'm your guide Q. Welcome back to r/TIFU. Today I fricked up. We've got some insane stories for you here today, from kind of small mess ups to giant mess ups that kind of ruin people's lives for a year. So let's just get right into these cringy stories. Today I goofed up by not wearing underwear to work. This definitely happened today, though I wish it hadn't. A bit of backstory: this morning the apartment's fire alarm went off, so we all had to clear out for a bit. In my haste, I skipped putting on underwear. I decided to take a nap a while later, and when I woke up, I decided to just go to work without remedying the underwear situation. It's only a 5-hour shift, I thought, it'll be fine. I get to work, everything is fine, happy hour starts, and we're prepared for the worst. I'm sipping my water in the back briefly, and I reach down to adjust myself. Imagine my horror when I touch my entire ball sack. I've never been so alarmed to touch my own balls. My pants at some point had ripped clean down the middle, and the boys, TM, were out and about. I had to explain that I was having a wardrobe emergency and ran to call my roommate, who thankfully showed up with a new pair of pants and underwear. It was a long 45 minutes that I just had to pretend my balls weren't enjoying the draft. TLDR, I didn't put on underwear, pants ripped at work, and my balls enjoyed some brief freedom. Oh, your balls enjoyed some brief freedom? Don't you mean your balls enjoyed some freedom from your briefs? I wanna die. Today I did an oopsie by being too good at my jobs. This happened over the last month and a half, coming to a head yesterday. I started a new job, admin, about a month and a half ago. I do pretty basic administrative work, check deposits, filing, follow-ups, etc. It's a full-time gig, and it might take me half of the day to do all of my duties. I don't know who had this job last, but they messed around a lot. I try to mess around and still get things done super fast. This has led to frustration for me and my supervisor because I run out of things to do, and I have to interrupt her work so she can find things for me to do. By the way, I'm not the kind of person where I enjoy getting paid to do nothing. Sure, it's nice on occasion, but not half of the day every single day. Fast forward to yesterday. I asked my supervisor if there was anything I could work on, and she asked me to shut her door. She asked me how I feel about getting my hours cut. Not just by a few hours, she's thinking of me being there 25 hours per week. That's significant. Moral of the story, don't do your best because you will get punished for it. TLDR, I did my job too well and got my hours cut for it. Luckily, there is an edit. Thank you to everyone on the real-world advice. It does suck, but hey, that's the way it goes, I suppose. My boss called me into his office to talk about the situation. He firstly apologized for suggesting hours being cut before they had a game plan. He made it very clear that he and the company appreciate my work ethic and initiative, and that they do not want to lose me as an employee. Apparently, when they hired me, there was originally going to be more work duties for me, but for some reason out of his control, that didn't happen. They are going to merge me into another area so I can fulfill a normal working week, not have hours cut, and most importantly, keep my pay. So let me know how you guys would feel about this situation. I personally, I don't know if this says something bad about me, I wouldn't mind only working for half of the day that I'm being paid for. If I had internet access, I could definitely find something to do with that other 4 hours of every single day, but if you're a person that likes to get things done, let me know if you'd be upset with this situation too. And that doesn't mean I'm excusing them for saying that they'd cut his hours. Like, if he wants to work hard, they should just let him or her work hard. Today I did a big goof by forgetting I pranked my friend and accidentally giving him mild depression. Mandatory this didn't happen today, but rather a few years ago. Back when I was at uni, my best friend James and I used to prank each other creatively by getting on each other's Facebooks/social media. Think things like messaging our friends with odd messages, trying to sell them a ridiculous pyramid scheme, changing each other's profile picture, etc. You get the idea. One day near the end of my final year, we are in his room about to go for a night out, and James goes to the bathroom, leaving his laptop unlocked with Facebook logged in. I take this as my opportunity to execute my latest master plan. I was going to change his post settings on Facebook to only me, i.e. his post would not be visible to anyone else, and post something outrageous and completely inappropriate, knowing he has his family on Facebook. Plan was that he would come in, see the post, and freak out / get super pissed, for me to reveal the gaffe to him and have a laugh. However, I only managed to execute the first part of my plan, i.e. changing the setting to only me, before he came back into the room and I had to quickly exit Facebook to avoid being found out. Now, the mess up was that we went out, got quite drunk, came back home, and I completely forgot about this prank. Fast forward to almost a year later. My friend is still at uni doing a master's degree, while I have moved to another city and started working. I should add that James is a big-time electric guitar player, and in the last year got into recording videos of himself and posting them to YouTube/social media. He messages me one day asking what I thought of his latest video on Facebook. I went to his page and noticed there was no post. In fact, there were no posts for around a year. I call him and tell him that there's no post, to which he says that can't be. I posted it yesterday and I'm looking at the post right now. I'm on the phone with him when it suddenly just clicks, and I'm immediately mortified. This entire time I'd left the only me setting on, and he hasn't realized. I hang up to compose myself before calling him back and telling him the truth. For the last year or so, he had been posting several videos and received 0 likes or comments. He had taken most of his previous videos down and had wondered why nobody liked his videos, if people just hated him since most of his friends graduated, if he was really crap at guitar. One thing he told me in particular was particularly heartbreaking. I often laid awake at night thinking about this. I don't want to use the term depression too loosely, but it really affected him and he was considering going for counseling. Luckily, he was good about it and didn't hold a grudge, and we now laugh about it. Bought him a lot of drinks the next time I saw him, though. TLDR, I forgot to change my friend's Facebook settings so that nobody else could see his posts. He thought nobody liked him and was mildly depressed for a year. Edit 2. I should add that I was of course extremely apologetic and remorseful after this happened, and I still feel terrible when I think about it. He understandably was pissed at first, but realized it was completely accidental, and it was just a colossal mess up. The reveal itself was over 6 months ago. I was reminded of it earlier today when I saw an obvious stupid Facebook prank. We still talk almost daily, and he is staying with me until he finds a flat once he also moves to the same city as me for work in a couple weeks. We'll make sure to keep my laptop locked, though. Edit 3, just to clarify, he wasn't starting to play guitar. He has played since he was a kid and is genuinely great at guitar. During his masters, he started filming cover videos/recordings as a hobby. His videos now get several likes and complimentary comments, and he actually links to a video which I think is awesome. We're just gonna check it out for a second. So the video that he links is a cover of Layla by Eric Clapton, and it got 23,000 views, which I think is awesome. His buddy is probably pretty appreciative that he got this much exposure through this whole prank situation, so I think it all worked out for the best. I'm not going to play it, even though it is a really good cover, just because you can even play covers on YouTube and still get it copyright claimed. That happened to me a few months ago when I made a Don't Fond Me video about this K-pop group that was trying to go to a different country. They did a cover of a song, and I got copyright claimed because I included their cover. Anyway, good stuff here. This is a hilarious situation, although very, very sad. This one's called Today I Fricked Up by Going on a Spontaneous Trip with My Girlfriend. Never will I ever be this spontaneous again. It's the weekend and we wanted to spend time together. For some reason we felt really spontaneous this particular day and decided to go to Paris just to see the Eiffel Tower. We live in Belgium and it was a 4-hour trip, but we were really determined. We even feel like the cool spontaneous couple at this point, and the trip there was good. I even mentioned that it's the journey that matters to me and the fact that we did go through with it. I was seeing it as a weekend road trip and everything was going good, but keep in mind that I did not Google or look anything up as we don't really use our phones much this weekend. Once we got into France, the landscape was beautiful and full of nature and long fields like you see on the Windows default background, but 10 times more amazing. However, once we started heading into Paris, things started to become more city-like and not the good kind. The roads were bad and the traffic started becoming quite aggressive. I just thought it was probably because of the weekend, but the deeper into Paris we went, the worse it got. Then it happened. We had arrived at what I now know is the Arc de Triomphe. This was no longer traffic, but a free-for-all, the likes of which I'd never seen before. I was dazed, confused, and scared. Drivers all over were just going like a beehive, pushing in quite aggressively and just taking charge, not giving a crap whether they were going to get hit or not. I was driving a rental, so I was worried I would get hit. Just to paint you a clear picture, imagine a huge field, maybe the size of a small football field. Now imagine no road signs, no traffic lights, no ground indicators, or even lanes. It's an 8-lane roundabout with no lanes. The worst thing is the entirety of Paris seems to be in this state, the chaos and aggressive driving. I started noticing 1 in every 4 cars had a huge dent. I'd legit never ever seen something this terrifying before. The only way to describe traffic in Paris is a free-for-all. First come, first serve, and taking a lot of risk and chances. When I finally had cleared this monstrosity, I was so relieved, but then my second TIFU happened right after. As I pulled out of the arc, I noticed bricks everywhere. About 10 cop riot cars and protesters everywhere. The street legit looked like there had been a huge explosion, tear gas on the streets, and everything was broken. My partner and I were both in awe. We didn't know what we were looking at. Apparently there was a huge riot going on, and according to the French, the most aggressive riot ever. They are calling it the Yellow Jacket riots, and we were not supposed to even be there. The French president is holding everyone there responsible for the damages. At that point, we were simply too scared to even stay there anymore. We turned the car around and I was desperately looking for any way out of there besides the arc. But to my shock, I was forced to drive back on the arc. Good news, I made it, no damage to the car or ourselves, but we did decide to look into cities we want to visit before going next time. TLDR drove a 4-hour trip to Paris in a spontaneous moment and ended up being shocked by its chaotic traffic and also ended up in the middle of a huge riot. So I do apologize for laughing throughout this, but this is just insane. I can't imagine this happening. The thing to learn from this is if you want to go on a spontaneous trip, maybe just try to, like, do a tiny bit of planning. Maybe your trip will be 95% spontaneous and you'll at least be safe. Unless your goal on a spontaneous trip is to be involved in a riot, and then just research to make sure there is a riot in the city you're going to. So I feel like I've been talking about this for a while, but I really want to try out a live stream on this website called youtube.com that you might be familiar with. I've done a lot of things over on Twitch, from playing games to looking at Reddit to watching cringy videos or Gordon Ramsay videos or Chris Hansen videos. So let me know what you would like to see on a live stream if I were to do one on youtube.com. Be sure to follow me on Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram alike. Wait, alike, that's what I use for the other things. Skate on to the best of your abilities. Make sure you're drinking more water. I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day, and I will see you very soon.